Hey, welcome back to DIY Willie. Man, is it ever a sticky day here today in beautiful sunny Southern California. Really humid. Uh, it's just uncomfortable. But we still got things to do. We got work to do. And today we have the 2012 Nissan Frontier back in the driveway today. It's got an engine code popping up, a P0420, which usually would say that the catalytic converter is bad. But here in California, you just can't go out and buy a catalytic converter. You got to buy the carb certified catalytic converters, usually like factory, or there's a few manufacturers that have them, and they're pretty pricey. You know, they cost a lot of money. So the owner of the truck, this is not my truck, by the way, this is actually a friend's truck, and I do all the work to it. But the owner of the truck is trying other things, hopefully to eliminate other variables that could cause that same code. Today he wants me to change the two O2 sensors. This is a 4-cylinder truck, so it has only two, an upper and a lower downstream oxygen sensor. So we're going to go ahead and change those out, and if it cures the code, if it erases that code, then great, that's a win. If it doesn't, and we have to put the new catalytic converter in, then we will, and we'll have two new oxygen sensors to go with the catalytic converter. So that's a plus, you know, that's a win too. So the catalytic converter that can go in this, you know, it's part of the intake, or excuse me, it's part of the exhaust manifold. If you see right there, you need some light, that's the exhaust manifold. That's the first upstream oxygen sensor, and that's one of the catalytic converters. There's another one downstream, down towards the back, and this is all one piece. So you replace the exhaust manifold with the catalytic converter, and this is probably one of the easier vehicles to do it on. There's a lot of room in there, but not something we want to do because of the cost. It's pretty expensive. So we're going to get in there today. We're going to change out those oxygen sensors, clear out the code, the 420 code, and take it for a ride and see what happens. Hopefully that'll fix the problem. If not, well, we'll get on the website and order up a new cat and intake our exhaust manifold, and then we'll be swapping that out too. That'll be a good video, I'm sure. Even though there is a lot of room on the 4-cylinder truck, it's still going to be tight in there. So yeah, let's get going on this and get those oxygen sensors in. All right. Okay, so taking a look at the new parts, they're both Bosch parts. There's other options out there that are a little cheaper or maybe a little more, but man, when get these parts like this that are especially the upstream one, that's kind of difficult to replace, it's better to buy good quality parts. And Bosch is, well, they're a good quality part. There's other parts out there, but yeah, there's the one. This is the downstream sensor. There's the part number, and you know, just very simple. It's got 4 pins on it, so this will be the easiest one, I believe, to put in. You can hear Spike over there going crazy again. Man, it smells like something dead out here. Wow. Anyway, here is the upstream sensor. There's the part number, and it's a little bit bigger. See, it's a bit bigger. It's got this cone that goes over the exhaust, or the heat deflector part of the exhaust, and yeah, it's a 6-pin, and I think this is going to be the harder one to put in just because of where it's at, and the socket doesn't fit it so easy, but we'll get it in there. So now let's go take a look underneath the truck on where we got to get these. So there you go. There's from the top side. The sensor is down there. Kind of hard to see from up here, but it's down there. And yeah, it's gonna be somewhat difficult to get to. Luckily, this truck being with the Titan swap and the fiberglass fenders, the inner fender liner has been removed, and we may be able to go right there. You got a perfect shot of the oxygen sensor right there. So that's the upstream sensor. I'm going to do that last just because I don't want to mess with it at the moment. We're gonna get to the lower stream. We'll take a look at that one right now. Okay, underneath the truck, up there is where the upstream sensor is. You got your first cat, you got your section of exhaust, and then you got your downstream sensor right here. It's after the cat. I believe this is a cat too. It could be a resonator, but I believe it's a cat also. And this is the downstream sensor. So we're gonna get this one out first, just to make job a little bit easier. I don't want to be cutting my hands up yet, like I'm gonna do up there. So yeah, it's just got a little clip right here. It's just got a little clip right here, and then where it ties into the harness right there. So it should be an easy job to do. And well, let's look at the tools we got to do it. So there are a couple different kinds of tools to get these oxygen sensors out. The one I have and use is a slotted socket like this. It's a 7/8 socket, and it fits over the oxygen sensor, and this slot allows for the wire to come out the side. This is a little bit harder to use, but I think it's better. There's the kind that are like the open sockets like this. I don't have one to show you. If I can find a picture of one, I'll put a picture here, but they're just like an open socket, and then your ratchet would attach to it like an open-end wrench, and then your ratchet would attach to it, and then it turns it out. If I can find a picture, I'll put it up here somewhere. But this is what I have, and this is what I use. I've only had one sensor one time be a different size, and I just went down and picked up one of their rental removal kits and install kits and used it and then returned it. So, but this is what I have, and that's what I'll use, and it does fits fine. I do wish I could take my grinder though and make a little more clearance right here, because these sensors, this is more of a 2-wire sensor or 3-wire sensor, and these sensors that I have here are 4 and 6. So the wire gets a little thick to run through here, but I mean, that could easily be modified, and we may do that eventually, just not today. So I wish I had sprayed those a little bit of penetrating oil, but I didn't. So we're just gonna get in there and get it out. Okay, we're gonna start by pulling out this. You can take these and squeeze it in with the pair of pliers, like I did there, and then they pull out. On the sensor plug, you just squeeze on the back of it and pull it straight down like so. It may be a little dirty, you may have to tap it with something to get the dirt out of it. And then this one, oh, what I do with my little screwdriver, oh, I lost my little screwdriver. And this side here, you can just push it in a little bit with a screwdriver or a small screwdriver, kind of work it down, and then it'll come off like that. Now we're ready to take the sensor out on that side. I hate messing with these oxygen sensors. They get so rusty and so stuck in there that they don't always like to come out. And they prove to be, can you see that sensor? Where's my hand? Yeah, not really, huh? But they prove to be kind of tight and difficult. I guess you really can't see it that well. I don't know. Anyway, I'm gonna take my my socket, and we're gonna go up in here. Now I cheated a little bit. I cracked it already, but you could stick this on here like this, or if you had a 7/8 wrench, you could go down in this way with a wrench as well. But you just get in here and pull, and they pop like that. Then when it's disconnected already, you should be able to turn it out. It's gonna be dirty. Gonna be stuff falling in your eyes, so if you have some safety glasses on, that'd probably be a good idea. And well, there it is. The oxygen sensor. This is the downstream sensor. We're gonna go ahead and clean the area up, and we'll put the new sensor in. Let me get that. Alright. Okay, so we've got the new sensor here, and it's ready to go. It already has never sees on it underneath the cover. Oh, here we go. It already has never sees on it under the cover. Now, if you were, by chance, say you would remove the engine, you would remove the exhaust pipe, and you're putting everything back in, and you were going to reinstall the old oxygen sensor for some reason, you know, I don't know why you would want to do that, but if you did, then you would want to clean this off a little bit with a wire brush and apply some never sees to the threads. But we're not going to do that. We've got a nice new one to go in. And the area is pretty clean. Looks good. Just like that. Now I'll go ahead and remove the cover. You can see the never sees on there. And then we're going to screw it back into place. Now when I go back on, nope, I'm not. I may use an open-end wrench, I don't know. We'll see right now. But without getting dirt on the never sees, thread the new one, this new bad boy, into place and tighten her down. Now, I don't believe there's really a torque specification for this, but just get it good and tight. There may be, but we're just gonna get it. Click, click. That sounds good. That's the YouTuber torque wrench. Click, click. Now, one more for a good. There we go. That'll work. Now we can just go back in here and plug everything in the reverse order. We've got the little clip. Snap that in there like that. And we've got this that fits up onto that little tab. Like that. And then we've got the plug that we're gonna just snap in there. Come on, plug, snap in there. Anyway, we're gonna snap it in there like that. I think I need two hands to do it. There we go, perfect. The new sensor is installed. This is the downstream sensor. Now we're gonna go do the hard one, the upstream sensor. Dun, dun, dun. Here we go. We're gonna get the top one. I went ahead and got the pry bar on it, on the oxygen sensor, and I'm going to go ahead and release the top. Now I broke the clip off the bottom, this one right here. It's not really needed. The new sensor comes with a new one, and it was just easier to use my long screwdriver and just snap it off. Now the top here is a cam lock. Now you want to get underneath it and just pop it open like that. And when you do that, you just wiggle it back and forth and it'll unplug just like that. Just put it out of the way. Now to get this off, it's going to be a little different too. We're going to have to struggle just a little bit. Let me get that out of the way. Once you struggle a little bit to get the plug off, it's the same thing. It's got a couple clips in it. I'm just going to get my long screwdriver again and pry it off, and we'll get the oxygen sensor out. Now with the sensor unplugged from the inner fender wheel, I've already loosened it up some more. Get the ratchet out of the way, and we should be able to turn it by hand. Hopefully without getting any cuts. Just like that. Need to make that socket just a little bit taller. Let's see, here we get it all tangled up in itself. Then I'll take that socket out. See if I can do it with my hands. There we go. It's kind of grainy too. Wow, that was different looking. That one looks strange. Anyway, let's get the new one. Taking a look at the new sensor. Yeah, this is a totally different sensor. I wonder if this sensor was broken or in a way. Something's different about it. That's odd, huh? It's got a different end on it. It looks like it's incomplete or something's broke off. Here's the new sensor, and it looks entirely different. I think that that sensor is definitely broken. That's interesting. That's a big difference. Okay, looks like we might have found the culprit here. The problem as to why we're throwing that 420 code. 420. Ha! Anyway, Elon Musk would like that. Anyway, I think we found why we're throwing that 420 code. Okay, let's get this installed and get things hooked back up. All right, see that gaping hole in there? We're gonna put the new sensor in there, and we'll be done. Remember, try to get it installed without stripping it, lining up those threads, and without getting too much dirt on the anti-seize. Just seems like the sensors could be better designed without the pigtail on them, so where maybe the harness would plug into the back of the sensor, making it easier to install, maybe, I guess. There we go. Now just get the wrench and tighten that baby down. It would do that. I need two hands. So now that we got it in, we're just gonna go ahead and take that plug or that clip and snap it into the back, just like that. We'll bring the plug around. You see it's got a little alignment pin and then the clip on this one. They go in there just like that. There we go, that's installed. Now we'll bring the plug around, make sure it's kind of clean, and we can plug it in the top and then just lock down the cam lock. That simple. Just push it down, push in the cam lock, installed. That's it. That's all you got to do for the upstream sensor. It's completely installed. Now taking a look again at the old sensor, you can see the whole top of it is broken off. This was the factory part, as far as I know. And yeah, well, it's damaged, probably beyond use. So it's good that we were changing it, and it was probably just this one that needed changed, but didn't hurt to change both of them, the upstream and the downstream. So I'm pretty sure this is the cause of our 420 code and our problem. I'm gonna go ahead now and reconnect the battery and go ahead and plug in, clear the codes, and start it up. We should be good to go. So let's do that and wrap this video up. Sizzle, sizzle. Get on there. Just make that good and tight. Check it. All right. Always seems like the car's got to bite you one time when you're working on it. This one got me once. Well, actually like 3 times. Got me like 3 times. Let's just get it cleaned up and get going. Now we've located our OBD2 port right here underneath the dash, and we'll go. All right, now it says codes found 0. Erase previous data. Yes. So by disconnecting the battery, it may have cleared the code already. Stored codes, no code stored. That's nice. We'll just check all of them. Pending codes, no codes. Permanent codes, no, go back. No. Go back. Willie, get your fingers under control. Great. Yeah, disconnecting the battery must have cleared the codes. We'll go ahead and start it up now and make sure. We need to reset the radio too, that we had the battery off for a while. We'll just turn it off. There we go. Perfecto. No more annoying check engine light. Well, that's good to know. Now the truck will be happy. Now the question is, that part broke off inside the exhaust, so that thing's going to be rattling around in front of the catalytic converter, the second catalytic converter, I should say. That part's going to be rattling around there. I hope it doesn't do much damage. But that's beyond the codes. That's beyond the sensors. So if it did damage it, the only thing it may do is block up the exhaust maybe. But it shouldn't stop it from actually flowing. Yeah, that looks good. We'll know once it goes for a drive. We got enough gas. He leaving? Yeah, he left us a half a tank. We'll take it for a little drive. All right. So that wasn't too bad. It was pretty easy. It took me a minute to figure out how to get the plugs unplugged on the downstream sensor. The little button didn't want to push in, but I got it. You know, just enough work on it. You get in, squeeze it, oh, and it breaks. But anyway, we got it off. We got both sensors changed. We did identify that the upstream sensor was damaged and most likely causing the 420 code on the truck. Disconnecting the battery, which I should have talked about that before you start the work. Anytime you deal with the electrical sensors in the vehicle, it's always a good idea to disconnect the battery. Helps the computer reset anyway, most of the time. I didn't show it at the beginning, but I showed it at the end reconnecting. So always disconnect your negative side of the battery. So we got the sensors changed out. We saw that that upstream sensor was damaged and most likely the cause of the code. We connected the battery. We started the vehicle. We have no more check engine light, no more codes. So this vehicle is due for smog, and that was the main concern before we spent the money on the new cat. The cats are expensive. They're well over $1,000 for carb compliant catalytic converters. There's lots of EPA cats out there, and there's lots of aftermarket cats, but living here in Southern California, we can't use those. It has to be carb compliant, carb approved cats, and they get pretty pricey. You got to pay for that. So anyway, this was a good video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and check out my Nissan Frontier playlist that I have. It's got a lot of good information in there. We do a lot of work on these trucks, and well, it's just a lot of fun. So thanks for coming by and checking out my videos, and I'll see you next time. Bye.